Hi, it's Alex Baisley from the Big Dream Program, and I wanted to record a little video for you today about one of the perils, challenges, pitfalls um, for people who are trying to figure out are they doing with their lives. So, people that maybe are stuck in jobs that just don't suit them, or maybe a business, but they know there's something inside them, or they feel that they were meant to do something in this world and don't know what it is. And time keeps passing and passing. And it starts to feel like we're not winning life's lotto. Like, where is that big idea that we thought was coming, that was going to make us know what we're supposed to be doing on this planet? And I know from 20 years experience what that feels like. And I thought that I wasn't going to find it perhaps either, or at least I was starting to lose hope. And it feels so important though, doesn't it? And so important that we even start to distract ourselves from it at certain times just for survival. We think, oh well, I just have to get on with my life and so on. But yet there's a deep yearning to know what we came here for. What I don't mean in a spiritual sense, that too. But I mean just what are we doing day to day, and does it suit us? And I just wanted to talk briefly about one of the biggest switch arounds that a lot of people have in my workshops when I talk about this topic, and what I was so slow to learn for 20 years. And that is that we're often trying to get ourselves out of a situation like that by saying, what would I like to do? And the trouble is, it's a question that's fraught with difficulty. I mean, it sounds like an obvious, smart question to ask. Well, if I don't like this, what would I like to do? But there's a couple of reasons why that question is really bad, especially for really smart, creative, interesting people. Is that when they say, what would I like to do? They have 100 interests and 100 more ideas. If they really stopped to brainstorm it, they would fill a page with possibilities about what they could do differently. Maybe they leave their corporate job, do something completely different, go learn to teach yoga, or become a writer, or do a different job altogether, or move to another country, or start a business, or start a website, start a blog. A million ideas, right? And the trouble is, we have no real way to sift through them, no way to figure out which are actually good ideas, and are we actually making good decisions? Should we go back to school? Should we go to a life coach? Are we making good decisions, or are we just grasping at straws? That's what it sometimes feels like. And I know for a good probably 15 years of my trying to find out what I was supposed to be doing in this world, I had reams of ideas. Matter of fact, you see some boxes behind me. I've never really pointed this out in videos before. There's one of them that's full of diaries of me trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And that's where it stayed until I had a bit of a mind shift. And that was this, that I think that deep down, what we want to do is not a good question because it brings up way too many ideas. But it's also missing the point just a little bit when it comes to practical life direction design. And that is that deep down, the reason none of these ideas necessarily resonate one more over the other is because we're not here to design a job. I think we're here to design a life for ourselves. And I know that sounds all nice and everything. We still got to pay our bills, right? I get that. But what if we switch the equation around? We're saying, if we get a good job, then I'll be happy, I'll earn the money I need, and I can build the life that I want. We're finding that's not necessarily a very good formula, a very reliable formula for the majority of people. However, I work with people who are switching that around and trying something different, saying, okay, I'm not 100% sure what I want to do with my job. Maybe I'm okay with what I'm doing, maybe I'm not. But I'm going to start building a life and then see what kind of income, what kind of jobs, what kind of meaningful work is most suitable and nourishing for that life. And although that sounds maybe a little bit pie in the sky at first, it's hugely practical. So for instance, if you want to have a life that is more outdoors, a life that is more, well, let's go with that example. So I knew a life coach who decided that doing life coaching sessions over the phone in his office was a little bit boring after a while. And so he started to invite his clients out to the mountains and out on walks and do their work from there. And guess what? They loved it. And his work improved as a result of it. And so that's just a tiny little example of how we can start building a life. I want to spend more time outdoors, and that leads to decisions that can completely change or totally uplift our work. So that's just a tiny little glimmer. I've got so much to share with you more than that. But here's a question I'd like to leave you with, just to try yourself. Instead of saying, what would I like to do? Try this question. Take a piece of paper and a pen. Take yourself to your favorite coffee shop even. And write out, how would I like my life to feel? Trust me on this. I swear it's not impractical. I think you'll find it hugely guiding. Not what would I like to do. How would I like my life to feel? And answer that. And you'll come up with answers. I would like to feel more this, more this, more this. And then take those answers and say, what do I do in my life now? Or what can I do that gives me those feelings? And you start to come up with this strategy that just unfolds in front of you about how to move your life forward. And what's interesting for a lot of the people I work with is that this leads us into taking those same answers and then saying, what parts of this that I enjoy that make my life better can I also share with other people and earn my income from? So it leads right into the income angle. So instead of starting with what would I like to do and trying to build a life after that, we build a life and then find how it leads into really meaningful, good synchronicity income for us, or a different sort of job or a different angle on our business. So I talked a lot longer than I thought I was going to. This was supposed to be a short video. Anyway, I hope if you got this far, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you found it helpful.